All right, folks, let's continue into Kosovo. Again, I have the same textbook stuff right here, the Oxford Companion to the IBDP History course on conflict and intervention. Just kind of have a quick idea of what's going on right through here. So it's going to break up kind of 1989. So the last thing we talked about was Milosevic's speech on the anniversary of the Battle of Kosovo. This is kind of everything from then up until... right now you can see up until February of 1996. So important things to understand is the LDK being formed, the Democratic League of Kosovo, with Ibrahim Rugova as the leader. Rugova is going to come up as a name consistently throughout this conflict in Kosovo, so make sure you understand him whenever you see his name, understand what's going on right through there. We're going to see him become self-declared or president of the self-proclaimed republic in July of 1992. Okay, we're going to see this other stuff, Srebrenica massacre in Bosnia. So similar stuff going on, NATO involvement, NATO airstrikes in Bosnia as well. So do understand that the situation is not just in Kosovo. What we're talking about right here in Kosovo is concurrent at the same time as the situations happening in other parts of Yugoslavia. So it might be a little hard to follow that, but do understand that the reasoning that we're talking about these events that are happening kind of simultaneously, but at different times, okay? The Monica Lewinsky scandal in the United States, this might seem a little bit weird why that's going to be playing a role. The United States does play a fairly large role here, particularly in their role with NATO. The United States could use a distraction, particularly President Clinton could use a distraction in January of 1998, so you could make an argument that some of the possible American intervention or NATO intervention in Yugoslavia could be to kind of take the public away from him because it's not looking too good for him. It's getting up to his impeachment as well, so that could be a reasoning right through there. So it's kind of an overview of what's going on. If you have any questions on any of those events, please do let me know. Now, in Kosovo, Albanians, the ethnic majority of Kosovo, they're going to be unhappy with Yugoslavia, and they're particularly unhappy with their loss of autonomy in 1989 and the replacement of their representative by a pro-Milosevic ally in this same time period. So there's really a lot of tension brewing at this time as well among the Kosovar Albanian population wanting to not be a part of Yugoslavia. They're upset with the way Yugoslavia has treated them, and they don't like it. They're seeing that others in Yugoslavia are standing up and forming independent countries right now, and their thought process is, if others like Slovenia and Croatia can do this, so can we. So there's going to be a group of Albanian delegates who are going to meet outside the Kosovar Assembly, which is where they held their representation when they were an autonomous province of Serbia before Milosevic revoked that. And they're going to come together and state that an equal and independent entity within the framework of the Yugoslav Federation is Kosovo. So Kosovo is just as important as Serbia. Kosovo is just as important as Slovenia, Croatia, Bosnia-Herzegovina, Vojvodina, all these other parts of Yugoslavia. Kosovo is just as important as that. They are not just this little puppet of Serbia. That is the Kosovar perspective. Serbia, of course, will disagree with that and think that Serbia or Kosovo is a region of Serbia. However, these delegates are stating that we have the same rights as any of the other Yugoslav republics. In response, Serbia is going to disband the assembly, and they're going to crack down on the use of Albanian language. The Albanian language is different than the Serbian language. It can be used to fuel kind of Albanian nationalism. If you crush someone's language, you can kind of crush their nationalism. And that is the thought process here by Serbia when they crack down on the Albanian language. The delegates are then going to meet and form a secret constitution in September of 1990. In this, they're going to state their desire for independence, not for the status quo. They do not want to be an autonomous region within Serbia. They want to be their own independent country. They're kind of just ticked off at Serbia at this point, and they want to move on and form their own nation. We're then going to get the Democratic League of Kosovo, the LDK, which is a political organization in Kosovo led by Ibrahim Rugova. Again, this is an important name. Understand him when it comes to talking about Kosovo. He's going to be the founder and then the leader of the LDK, and then he's also going to be elected president of Kosovo in 1992. He believes that independence could happen in Kosovo without violence. He is a pacifist. So unlike what we're seeing in Croatia, where there's violence and war, Rugova believes that peace can bring about independence as well. He's going to resist calls to open a conflict against Serbia during the Bosnian War. There was a push in Kosovo to attack Serbia and to kind of make a move right now when Serbia was distracted with what was going on in Kosovo. Rugova rejects this, and as a result of that, Kosovo is really going to be ignored in the Dayton Accords. So the Dayton Accords, which split apart Bosnia-Herzegovina, there was a belief, at least by some in Kosovo, that Kosovo should also be discussed right here because Yugoslavia is breaking up. Kosovo is having the same kind of ideals as those in the other republics that have broken off and got international recognition and international support. They believe that they should as well. As a result of really not being involved in violence, the international community largely ignores Kosovo at this time, and they're ignored at the Dayton Accords. This is a statement here that we would have no chance of successfully resisting. We believe it is better to do nothing and stay alive than to be massacred. Now, this is an important quote by Rugova. There's a lot you could take with this quote right here, but he kind of has the belief that if we try to fight back and do this against Serbia, we will lose. They are stronger and have the ability to crush us. So it is better to stay alive and do nothing than it is to fight back and just be slaughtered. And that's kind of his position throughout this conflict, at least initially. Then we're going to get the KLA, the Kosovo Liberation Army. They're going to be frustrated with the lack of international recognition. They're going to be frustrated with their ignorance of the fact that they were ignored during the Dayton Accords. And they believe that pacifism had not worked so far and that it would not continue to work. So they're kind of going to be in opposition to what Rugova is doing. They agree with Rugova and his desire for Kosovo independence, but they do not think that he is going about it in the correct way. They do not believe that pacifism is working, and thus something more must happen. Kosovo is threatened by the situation in Bosnia, largely because Serbian nationalism is going unchecked. War tends to kind of inflame the passions of individuals. You're going to be having this happen more and more. Again, Kosovo, under the eyes of the Serbians, is an autonomous region of Serbia, or a former autonomous region of Serbia, that is. There are Serbians living in Kosovo, and the nationalism is really growing unchecked. Again, Kosovo being a site of ethnic or of cultural significance to Serbia, there's a lot of nationalism going on right now, and Kosovo sees this as a threat. The KLA is going to launch attacks on the Serbs, and they're doing this simply to force international communities to pay attention. This is kind of a similar tactic used by terrorist organizations as well. If you commit an attack, people see what's going on. The kind of more brutal the attack, the more people that tend to hear about it. When this happens, your cause gets the attention that you believe it deserves. So the KLA is launching a series of attacks on Serb communities, Serb institutions, as a way of getting this international recognition and point of view, getting people to look at them and see what's going on. In 1997, Albania is going to collapse. The country of Albania, again, Albania is not a part of Yugoslavia. It's a border country. There was talk at one point of Albania joining into Yugoslavia. That did not go well. Albania and Yugoslavia really did not have good relations throughout the entire portion, basically post-World War II up until now. But due to Albania's collapsing and the large number of Kosovar Albanians, people who speak Albanian, ethnically Albanian in Kosovo, a lot of arms are going to end up in Kosovo with the KLA. Now, Milosevic is concerned by this. Milosevic considers the KLA a terrorist organization, and basically thinks that they need to be wiped out because they are committing acts of terror, acts of violence against Serbian institutions. The West, additionally, is not really a fan of Milosevic at this time, but they're also incredibly uncomfortable with the tactics of the KLA. They don't like what the KLA is doing. They're frustrated by the KLA, and they kind of agree with the ideology of the KLA, but they don't agree with the KLA's way of going about and getting this. It's kind of like, do the ends justify the means? And there's some discussion right through there. Something that you could explore a little bit more with the KLA. Violence was a method of gaining attention in the West. We're going to have things like Orthodox churches being burnt. Again, majority of those Kosovar Albanians are Islamic. We're going to have churches being burned down. We're going to have citizens that are Serbian fleeing. Now, this is important to understand that this is not all Kosovars. This is simply a minority of them with the KLA. The KLA was not a religious organization, so to speak, so do understand the difference right through there. Simply by targeting the churches, though, it's a way of targeting the Serbs in the region, and it's also a way of bringing international attention to your cause. Continuing forward, we're going to get Resolution 1199, which is going to establish an international peacekeeping organization in Kosovo. This is the United Nations getting involved, making sure that there is some form of peacekeeping in Kosovo. However, the violence is going to continue and is going to escalate from here. If you have any comments or questions, please do let me know. We'll take care of them from there. Otherwise, I'll see you later. Good luck.